July 2026. The engines of two fighter jets roar to life at an airbase in Western Germany. One carries the tricolor of France. The other bears the black, red, and gold of Germany. They accelerate down the runway together. At first glance, there's nothing unusual about the scene. France and Germany have been allies for decades. Their pilots train together. Their soldiers serve side by side. Their leaders speak constantly of European unity. But today is different. One of those aircraft is capable of delivering a nuclear weapon. The other is not. For nearly 80 years, Germany has deliberately lived without its own nuclear arsenal. Instead, it has relied on something invisible, something powerful, something many Europeans simply assumed would always exist: the American nuclear umbrella. But what happens when the nation holding that umbrella begins to question whether it should keep holding it? As Washington debates its future role in Europe, as Russia wages the largest war on European soil since World War II, as France quietly invites Germany into an unprecedented nuclear partnership, an old question, buried for generations, has returned. Who will protect Europe if America won't?
Every era has a single day that divides history into before and after. For the nuclear age, that day was August 6, 1945. The Japanese city of Hiroshima had just begun another ordinary summer morning. Streetcars rattled through the streets, factory workers reported for duty, children walked to school. At 8:15 a.m., an American B-29 bomber named Enola Gay appeared high above the city. Few people looked up. Air raids had become common. Many assumed this was another reconnaissance aircraft. Then, the bomb fell. 43 seconds later, the world entered a new age. A blinding flash brighter than the sun engulfed the city. Temperatures at the center of the explosion reached several million degrees. Buildings disappeared. Steel melted. Human shadows were burned permanently into stone. Within seconds, tens of thousands of people were dead. By the end of the year, approximately 140,000 people had died from the explosion, burns, and radiation. 3 days later, another atomic bomb destroyed Nagasaki. Japan surrendered. The Second World War ended. But peace came with a terrifying realization. Humanity had invented a weapon capable of destroying civilization itself. For thousands of years, the strongest armies had determined the fate of nations. Now, one bomb could erase an entire city. The umbrella that has sheltered Europe for 80 years is being questioned for the first time. The United States did not keep its monopoly for long. Even before Hiroshima, Joseph Stalin had already ordered Soviet scientists to develop their own atomic weapon. American leaders hoped nuclear superiority would secure peace. Instead, it accelerated one of the greatest arms races in history. On August 29, 1949, the Soviet Union successfully detonated its first atomic bomb at the Semipalatinsk test site in Kazakhstan. The American monopoly had lasted just 4 years. Now there were two nuclear powers. Each feared the other. Each believed falling behind could mean national extinction. The Cold War had truly begun. Europe lay in ruins. More than 60 million people had died during World War II. Entire cities had vanished beneath mountains of rubble. Factories were destroyed, railways broken, governments collapsed. Millions of refugees wandered across a continent that barely functioned. No country symbolized this devastation more than Germany. The nation that had started the war no longer existed as a sovereign military power. Instead, Germany was divided into occupation zones controlled by the United States, Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Its capital, Berlin, deep inside Soviet-controlled territory, was divided as well. It quickly became the first battlefield of the Cold War, not with bullets, but with politics and logistics. In June 1948, the Soviet Union blocked every road, railway, and canal leading into West Berlin. More than 2 million civilians suddenly found themselves cut off. Food could not enter, cold could not enter, medicine could not enter. Many feared another war was about to begin. Instead, the Western Allies launched one of history's greatest logistical operations. For nearly a year, cargo aircraft landed in Berlin every few minutes, day and night, in rain, in snow, delivering everything the city needed to survive. At its peak, one aircraft landed every 60 seconds. The Berlin airlift became one of the first major victories of the Cold War, but it also revealed a frightening truth. The Soviet Union was willing to use enormous pressure to expand its influence. Western Europe needed protection, permanent protection. On April 4, 1949, 12 nations gathered in Washington, D.C. They signed one of the most important treaties in modern history, the North Atlantic Treaty. Its central promise became known simply as Article 5. An attack against one member would be considered an attack against them all. It was a revolutionary idea. For centuries, European nations had repeatedly gone to war against one another. Now they pledged to fight together. The founding members included the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Italy, Portugal, Denmark, Norway, and Iceland. At first, NATO was a conventional military alliance, but events soon transformed it into something far more powerful. In 1952, the United States tested the first hydrogen bomb. It was hundreds of times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. 1 year later, the Soviet Union developed its own. The arms race accelerated beyond imagination. Strategists confronted a horrifying reality. If another world war erupted, millions could die within hours. Eventually, both sides accumulated enough nuclear weapons to destroy each other many times over. The balance became known as mutually assured destruction, or simply MAD. The logic seemed almost absurd. The more powerful the weapons became, the less likely they were to be used. Fear itself became the foundation of peace. America soon recognized another challenge. Its European allies worried they could become the first battlefield in any war with the Soviet Union. How could Washington convince them they would not be abandoned? The answer became known as extended deterrence. The United States promised that its nuclear arsenal would protect not only American cities, but allied nations as well. If Moscow attacked Western Europe, it risked provoking a nuclear response from the United States. This promise became known as the nuclear umbrella. It was never a physical shield. It was an idea, a promise, a calculation, the belief that America would be willing to risk New York to save Berlin, or Paris, or London. For decades, that belief shaped the security of an entire continent. Most Europeans accepted it. One man did not, and his name was Charles de Gaulle. The umbrella held for decades, but one man believed no nation should ever place its survival entirely in another's hands. His challenge to Washington would change Europe forever. That story, next, on The Nuclear Umbrella.
Subscribe now so you don't miss episode 2, The General Who Said No. Like this video, Shaping Europe's Security Today, and drop a comment, should Europe still depend on America's nuclear umbrella?